A slight risk of severe weather this afternoon and tonight across the Ohio Valley and getting into western Pennsylvania and western New York State, starting tomorrow through Thursday and Friday from the high plains to the southern Mississippi Valley to the southeast U.S. will be the next severe weather threat. And then heading into Mother's Day weekend, it looks nice for most of the U.S. It's May 3rd, 2022, and this is Weather Live.
From Greenville, South Carolina, covering weather across America. This is Weather Live with meteorologist Rich Lupia.
Thanks for watching us today on your social media platform. Please be sure to like and subscribe to us, whether it is on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch. It will not be as significant as the severe weather that was across the Central Plains yesterday afternoon and especially last night, but there is the threat for severe weather along the I-65 corridor and heading to the east across the Ohio Valley and eventually getting into western Pennsylvania and possibly as close as far western New York State. That is where the best chance for severe thunderstorms, damaging wind gusts, possibly some hail, maybe a tornado or two, but for the most part, just damaging winds and hail, the biggest threat for the severe weather today. Now, here's the big thing. We have the storms lining up along the I-65 corridor about 2 o'clock this afternoon from Indianapolis down to Louisville and down towards Bowling Green. That wave moves into Cincinnati about 3, 4, 5 o'clock this afternoon. And then towards Columbus and towards Huntington, West Virginia, about 6, 7, 8 o'clock, with another line of thunderstorms forming across the state of Kentucky, across from Frankfort down to Bowling Green and towards Nashville. That pushes in towards Lexington, and then eventually into the hills of eastern Kentucky and into northern West Virginia and also into Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area. After dark, you're going to be under the threat for some damaging wind gusts, some frequent lightning, and some heavy downpours, and possibly as far north as Cleveland, Erie, Pennsylvania, maybe Jamestown, New York at the most, but this mainly will be an Ohio Valley severe weather threat for today and for tonight. All right, so as one storm moves out into the northeast and begins to lose its energy, the next storm with energy comes out of the southern Rockies, deposits itself across the southern plains. This means Kansas, especially Oklahoma and Texas. This is where the severe weather threat shifts to tomorrow, particularly tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. An enhanced risk from Oklahoma City to almost Amarillo, Abilene, and towards Lubbock, Texas. This area will be under the threat for damaging wind gusts, potentially tornadoes, along with frequent lightning and heavy downpours tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. Now, as we head into Thursday, that threat shifts towards the east. So getting towards Missouri, towards St. Louis, Springfield, Branson, Missouri, almost the entire state of Arkansas, northern Louisiana, especially Monroe, Shreveport, and back towards DFW, especially early in the day. That's where the severe weather threat's going to go on Thursday, and then heading into Friday, what's left of that will move into the southeast towards Georgia, the Carolinas, and towards the Virginias. All right, so we have the wide view of this out here, but we're going to back this up, and we're going to show you what it looks like heading into Wednesday night and into Thursday. There's the storm over Kansas with the severe weather spreading out ahead of it Wednesday night and into Thursday across Kansas, Oklahoma, and into Texas, getting into Missouri, Arkansas, and northern Louisiana Thursday afternoon and into Thursday night, and then into Friday as the low heads east of the Mississippi. This is where the storms get into North Carolina, South Carolina, northern part of Georgia, Friday afternoon and into Friday night, especially across central Georgia, getting across the Midlands of South Carolina, the Sandhills of North Carolina, and eventually getting up into southern parts of Virginia, particularly towards RVA and towards the Tidewater. Probably less of a threat of it north of there, especially north of Washington. You'll be on the cool side of that storm with just some general light rain showers across the Ohio Valley into Pennsylvania, in towards New Jersey and towards the New York City area. As we head into the weekend, most of the East Coast dries out, with the exception of immediately along the coast. Most of the East Coast dries out, and Mother's Day looks to be nice from the Northeast all the way through the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, into the Southeast, and down into the south central United States. But once you get west of the Mississippi River, especially Minnesota, Iowa, and then heading out towards Nebraska, the Dakotas, and then pretty much along and north of I-80 all the way back to the West Coast, it's going to be unsettled. It's going to be chilly with rains and mountain snows. Here, it's not going to be a very good Mother's Day, but for most of the U.S., particularly south of Interstate 70 and east of the Mississippi River, Mother's Day is looking really, really good. And the high temperatures certainly reflect that, with 50s, 60s, and 70s, even into eastern Canada. We're getting into the time of year where the heat is really starting to get into Canada. On Mother's Day, that will definitely be the case. 70s into the Ohio Valley and into the southeast, with 80s and 90s across the south central part of the United States. 100 plus, not out of the realm of possibilities across the state of Texas. And then your typical heat across the desert southwest, but much colder once you get out of the deserts and up into the Intermountain West and up into the Northwest and into the Northern Rockies. Looking ahead beyond Mother's Day, the warmth, the heat building in the south central U.S. will spread across the Mississippi River and into areas east of the Mississippi. It looks like a high likelihood of above normal temperatures. Spring will be in full bloom. Everything across the Great Lakes, the Northeast, and the Ohio Valley, if you're not fully green, everything will bloom fully green in a hurry next week, with the warm temperatures moving in and the sunshine helping to bring spring all the way across the eastern United States and up to the Canadian border, and even beyond that. West of the Mississippi is where the cooler, more unsettled weather is going to be heading into the middle of May. And that's Weather Live for May 3rd, 2022. Thanks so much for joining me. Please be sure to follow me. And now here's a message about something that you can get from my website at richlupia.com.
Do you have kids or know people who have kids who are elementary school age? Do they love the weather? Are they fascinated by it? Scared by it? Check out the wonder of weather for kids. Want to know more about what makes the weather? Hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, thunderstorms, drought, snowstorms? I cover it all in 25 easy-to-digest lessons of 10 to 20 minutes apiece. Over 6 hours of material. Go to richlupia.com to purchase the program and start watching the videos now.